kind of nice when it lights up. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Lunchtime with Mikey and Suze. I am Mikey, my beautiful wife Suzanne, right over there, monitoring the chat. We have our beautiful cats, of course, Moon Pie and Deja Vu. And as you know, yesterday was a civic holiday across Canada, like a mandated holiday for federal workers and stuff. So that's why I didn't do the TOS and Red Dwarf, uh, episodes yesterday. I went ahead and moved it up to today. And then, tomorrow, Wednesday, will then be. But now this is just for this week, folks, okay? Because next week I'll go back to regular times, the regular days. But because of that's a civic holiday, tomorrow will be Get Smart and 18 2 episodes. So also from here on out, I know it's going to be a little bit longer, but maybe that's great because we'll have more time together. I will be doing 2 episodes of TOS from now on to try to catch up because we're on season 2 right now of that. Now on Red Dwarf, there's technically 6 episodes, and we're doing episodes 1 and 2 of season 12 today. Right, and then in TOS we're doing season 2, episode 2, and episode 3, which are Who Mourns for Adonais, and the other one, of course, is the Changeling. So, yeah. So we've got, and then from Red Dwarf, episode 1 of season 12 is called Cured, 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 and then the second episode, episode 2, is going to be called Siliconia. Yeah. So we got those 2 episodes, Red Dwarf, 2 episodes TOS. We'll go through it, try to go through it as much as possible. Like I said, probably on the TOS episodes, I'm not going to cover every single trivia question there, or trivia answer. Just go through the main ones that are listed. The goofs, there aren't that many goofs that I saw. I think one episode, the Changeling, had a lot more, but you know how I read through them. I try to read through them as fast as I possibly can. I do have a full pizza waiting for me over here, but it was a little bit warm, a little bit hot. So I covered it, and I'm just waiting for it to, cool down a little bit. Then I can have it after I'm done. And welcome, Daniel's Hot Topics, first into the box. He says, "Good morning, Mike. I am standing by the phone, waiting for Ryan to call. I need to get out of here at least for an hour." Okay, well, talk to Ryan. I'm assuming he is your social worker, so make sure you talk to him. Tell him everything I mentioned to you last night. And you can embellish all you want, but, your main sole purpose in the next 7 days is to get out of there. Get out of that place, Daniel, because all you're going to do is hurt yourself if you stay. You and Coco are not safe, okay? I'm just saying. Crazy lady in this house is still preventing me from talking to people every effing damn day, telling me I'm going to die alone and I am sick of it. Well, then you got to get out of there, right? I told you. Give yourself 7 days to get yourself totally out of there and at least move to some place temporary until you can find a good place to live. And I'm sure your social worker and your mental worker will help you with that. Okay? Yeah. And Hakeem, hi, Hakeem. Our first person who ever joined our channel. Thank you, sir. Kapla, Mikey, and Daniel's Hot Topics. I hope you all are doing well. Yeah, we do want to say some special prayers this week for Daniel's Hot Topics. He's going through some really rough times right now. So we do want to say some prayers for him. We'll add him in our prayers at the end of the show. So thank you, Akeem, for coming in. Please, I really do appreciate when you're here. Daniel too. Daniel, appreciate you being here. Okay. Yeah, we got a lot to cover, so I gotta cover a lot of stuff right now. Yeah, that sucks, Daniel. I am wishing you the best to get out of that situation. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's go to Red Dwarf. There's not a lot of information on both these shows, but I'll let you know who we're going to interview. Or not interview, I mean mini, mini biographies, Okay. All right. So the first one is called Cured. It came out on October 12th, 2017. By 554 people, it was rated a 7.5 out of 10. Um, for the final grades, I'm pretty much on board with what everybody else is saying. This was a pretty decent episode, not the greatest episode, um, but it did get 7.5. So I would say about a C plus. That's about my grade too. So was directed by Doug Naylor, who of course was one of the writers, along with Rob Grant, and of course, it has the usual cast of characters: Chris Berry playing Rimmer, Craig Charles playing Lister, Danny John Jules playing the cat, Robert Llewellyn playing Crichton. Now, in this one, I'm actually going to uh, do the mini bios on 4 people because this is a prison colony where they found that some of Earth's uh, notorious and infamous have been rehabilitated. So one of them is Professor Telford, who is the head of the facility, and he's played by Adrian Lucas. So we're going to take a look at him quick. We're going to look at Ryan Gage, who plays Uncle Adolfo, the mustachioed one. And then we'll look at Caleb Coates, who plays Stalin. And then Vlad is played by Philippe Spall. He's Dracula. Technically. We're going to take a look at those 4 gentlemen. But, and there was a lady too, but it didn't show much on her. So I said, yeah, it's okay. All right, so let's take a look at trivia. Okay. This is not the first time the Red Dwarf crew have interacted with the Mustachio Man. In season 6, episode called Out of Time, the crew did meet a future version of themselves that had abandoned all morality and off screen had dined with the Mustachio family along with Eva Braun. This timeline was erased when Rimmer destroyed the time travel device. Also, Mustachio Man appeared in episode Meltdown as a wax droid. And this is the 3rd appearance of him, of Uncle Adolfo. And the United America flag is very similar to the Earth government flag from the show Futurama, affectionately called Old Freebie, where it's basically the American flag with the planet Earth in place of the stars. The original title of this episode was Hear No Evil. And the real Uncle Adolfo made an appearance in the Series 3 episode Time Slides from 1989, where Lister entered a photograph of him speaking at the 1934 Nuremberg rally, which was archive footage shown with Lister superimposed in, and proceeded to heckle him and then off screen get into a fight with him. However, in this episode, they actually bond with each other. That's weird. Okay, let's take a look at goofs. Okay, first there's a factual error. Rimmer says that he hopes they can fix Starbug because he's sick of always having to turn left. But the subsequent shot inside the cabin shows the crew all leaning to their left when they make the turn, which would happen if they were turning right. Okay, then there's a couple of character errors. Lister jams with Uncle Adolfo on guitar. However, in previous episodes, Lister could only play the guitar badly. Here, he plays the guitar competently. Responding to one of Lister's facts, Uncle Adolfo says, Nein way, meaning no way. Also, as a German, he should have said, kein way. Okay, or kein way. All right. Okay. And in this episode, there is the song that's performed by Craig Charles and Ryan Gage is called The Happy Wanderer, which was written by Florenz Friedrich Sigismund. Yeah, Florenz Friedrich Sigismund. Okay. And then, of course, the regular Red Dwarf theme, performed by Jenna Russell and written by Howard Goodall. Okay. And there's no filming and production information for this episode. There is for the next one. Okay. All right. And let's go ahead and look at the four gentlemen there. First of all, we'll look at Adrian Lucas, who plays the facilitator, Professor Telford. He is still alive. He is an actor, a writer, and he works on soundtrack. He was born March 28th, 1957. So, having recently had a birthday, he is the ripe old age of 68 years old. And he was born in Birmingham, England. He is an actor-writer known for Judy in 2019, Heads of State in 2025, and Pride and Prejudice from 1995. He also did Spy City in 2020. He has been married to Michelle L. Costa since November 1985, and they have one child. That's cool. Oh, and another rocker died, babe. Let's see. Judy is in the movie Judy. He played Dr. Hargreaves in 2019. In 1995, in Pride and Prejudice, which was a TV miniseries, he played Lieutenant Wickham, and he did that for 5 episodes. In 2023, he was in The Boys in the Boat, played Jay Ellis in that movie. And in Heads of State, he played Jack Gordon in 2025. And that was the most recent movie he worked on, Heads of State. Very cool. All right. So that is Adrian Lucas. All right. Okay, now the next one we'll look at is Ryan Gage, who plays Uncle Adolfo. Yeah, we don't say his H name on the air. We can't do that. Okay, so Ryan is an actor, producer, and director. He was in The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies in 2014, right? And he was born January 17th, 1983 in England, so in London. He is, like I said, actor, producer known for The Hobbit. He was also did The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug in 2013 before that, and he was in The Draw just recently in 2025. So he is the ripe old age of 42 years old. Cool. All right. So let's see. Gotta forgive me here, folks. Okay, so he does the one episode. Okay, so in both 2013, The Desolation of Smaug, and The Battle of the Five Armies from The Hobbit, he plays Alfred Lickspittle. Yeah, that real coward person. Then in 2025, he was Alec in the movie The Draw. And The Draw was his most recent, but in production right now, he's going to be playing in the TV series Robin Hood, and one episode of that. And let's take a look at that. Yep, season 2, episode 1. He'll be in Robin Hood. So, very cool. All right, and that's in production. All right, so that is Ryan Gage. Now we'll take a look at. I knew he looked familiar. Okay. Just want to take a look at one thing here. Okay. So Chloe Hawkins, just want to briefly mention her. She plays Messalina in Red Dwarf in this one episode. Yeah, that's all she's done so far. Yeah. So she's a brief actress, Chloe Hawkins. Okay. All right. So I decided to add her anyway. She didn't have much information. All right. Callum Coates, who plays Stalin. Okay. He's an actor. And he was also in uh, All Creatures Great and Small, which was directed by Brian Percival in 2024 from Channel 5. His most recent work was Lord Hagel in Dune Prophecy on HBO Max. He played Fleet Lieutenant Director Reed in All Creatures Great and Small Series 5. They're on ITV. Thomas in The Repair Shop in Black Doves for Netflix, and Eric Delgado in Grantchester Series 9 on Channel 5. Other TV work includes Blood, Sex, and Royalty for Netflix, Gentleman Jack 2, Life After Life, Grace Looking Good Dead, The Crown, The Witcher, EastEnders, and Emmerdale. He also played Joseph Stalin in Red Dwarf 12, as we just said, on Cured. And then he made a cameo appearance in Inside Number 9. Cool. And like I said, of all those he's known for, Dune Prophecy came out last year, and he played, like I said, Lord Hagel for 2 episodes. And that was Season 1, Episode 1, The Hidden Hand, and Season 1, Episode 4, Twice Born, both from last year. Okay. And then in 2022, he was in 2 episodes of the TV series Blood, Sex, and Royalty, where he played Cardinal Wolsey. And that was in the very first episode, Boland's for the Win. And then the next episode, episode 2, which was Never Let Them See You Cry. That was from 3 years ago. And also then, in Life After Life, a TV series, he played Mr. Howell. Yeah, Howell. And he was in Season 1, Episode 3 of that, where he played that role. And then in Outlander, in 2020, he was in 1 episode of that TV series where he played John Evans, and that was from Season 5, Episode 2, which was called Between Two Fires. Okay. So, Doom Prophecy is the last 2 episodes he's worked on so far from last year. So that is Callum Coates. Yeah, very busy man, obviously. All right, and finally we have Philippe Spall, who plays Vlad. And Philippe is an actor, and it doesn't have a birth date on him either. So if I don't read the birth dates, that's because they don't have one. But he's an Anglo-French actor, singer, and voice artist. He was born and raised in Cornwall, England, to a French mother and an English father, and started acting at school. He is completely fluent in both French and English, and speaks both languages without an accent, unless required. Philippe lives in London, England. Very cool. Now, you might recognize him from Downton Abbey. He played Monsieur Courbet in 2019. I think it was the Downton Abbey series, but it could have been the movie. They do have a TV movie, I guess. In a movie called Allied in 2016, he played Monet. In 2017, he was in a movie called Final Portrait, where he plays a pimp. And in a TV miniseries called Wolf Hall in 2015, which ran from 2015 to last year, 2024, he was in 4 episodes. From season 1, he was an executioner. Episode 6 of Master of Phantoms, that was in 2015. And then last year, he was in 3 different episodes. He played one character called Calais Swordsman, and he was in episode 1 Wreckage from season 2. He was in Genicky, episode 4 of season 2, and finally from season 2, he was in Light, which was episode 6. And I'm doing this for a lot of the English people in case they, recognize. Oh, yes, he's also been in Andor, the TV series. He played Sonif Brecanti. Yeah, for 1 episode this year. Yeah, season 2, episode 4, Everbeen de Gorman. Yeah, Sunif Brecanti. He's in that. Andor is Star Trek, isn't it? I think. TV series. Or is it Star Wars? No, I think it's Star Wars. Well, anyway. Jay Kelly is a movie this year he just completed, And in post-production, there's a movie short called Sandwich Man, where he plays Pierre. Okay. So that was the last gentleman there, Philippe Spall. Okay. All right, and that is from Cured. Okay, so we're going to take a few breaks here periodically. We'll check the chat, see what's happening. Yeah, so this was the one where the crew uncover in an abandoned research facility where several infamous historical figures have been rehabilitated of their evil ways. Okay. Yeah. Okay, we'll get to Siliconia in a moment. Let's go ahead and take a look at the chat, shall we? All right. Looks like you guys love to explode, and I do appreciate that. All right. So after Hakeem said, "That sucks, Daniel. I am wishing you the best to get out of your situation." Hakeem, thanks, bro. I really am suffering like a dog and have been since, oh my God, my whole life. Yeah, he has. I absolutely love being here. Thank you, Hakeem. He says to Daniel, yeah, I know the feeling, but sometimes you have to move on, especially when you have people like that bringing you down. It's true. And Daniel says, what's Red Dwarf? And Hakeem says, it's like a sitcom in space. Yeah, it's a British sitcom in space, Daniel. It has sci-fi, it has comedy, it has some drama. Yeah, it's actually a very good series. We're on season 12 of it. There's actually 13 seasons, but there's only one episode so far showing for season 13. I think that's where they stopped. They were supposed to do a 14th season, and I don't think they've done that yet. Or if they're going to, it's still in production. So, yeah, Hakeem says it's pretty funny. Yes, it is. I agree. And howdy, hello, brother Curtis Selby, our tired midnight blocker. He says howdy, MikeySuzeFour. Curtis says howdy, Hakeem and Daniel's hot topics. Hakeem says hello, Curtis. Daniel says hello to Curtis, and Daniel says, Mikey, check out this channel. This guy knows what he is talking about. Modern women, talking about modern women want castles but bring chaos. Oh, okay. That should be an interesting subject. Thank you, Daniel. So, everyone, if you take a look where Daniel has posted a link to a specific topic, yeah, please check it out. Okay. Kage Noctum Gaming. What up? Hello, Kage. And hi. Hey, hello, Scott. Scott is Anchorman, good friend of ours, the brother to us as well on the channel. Hello there, Scott and Kage. Good to see you, gentlemen. And there is Jay Aldridge, my brother Jay. He says, oh, Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz? My friends all have Porsches, and I say amen. There you go. And hello, Milk for a snack. Hello, Milk. Hello, folks. Just dropping in to say hi. I must lay some cement board in a foyer, so I can't stay long. But then gonna go to a record store with a dear friend. Oh, that is awesome. And oh, Scott, yeah, you see Fantastic Four tomorrow. That's awesome, sir. Uh, tell you what, Scott, if you want to co-host with me, and if Eli has seen it, hopefully, why don't you join me on Thursday? Okay, Thursday afternoon. Okay, Scott, you have my Facebook Messenger. Let me know what's a good time for you, either on Thursday or Friday, and you and I, and hopefully Eli too. The three of us can go ahead and do a review live stream of Fantastic Four First Steps. Does that sound good? Yeah, let me know on my Facebook Messenger, okay, sir, afterwards. Yeah, please. Because I would love to talk about that movie. It was okay. Okay, it was decent. I mean, it wasn't fantastic, as it says in the title, but there were some good moments. And the battle scenes at the very end against Galactus, woo! Yay. I was very excited about that. And hello, Larry. Good morning, my brother. Good morning, brother Larry. Great to see you. Really is. Thank you. Wow, you guys, guys, really awesome. Okay. Scott says I'm having a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Marathon, the 80s version. I'm finally at the seasons I have never got to see. Oh, that's awesome, dude. Yeah. Yeah, but like I said, Scott, let me know how you feel about Fantastic Four: The First Steps. Let me know. We can do a review of that. And Milk says, pretty sure it is the four that's supposed to be fantastic, right? Not necessarily the movie. Yes, you're right, Milk. But but Sue Storm has a child, so little spoiler alert there. But it could be Fantastic Five. Would be weird if it was, wasn't it? Okay. Well, thank you, sexy love. There's my sexy wife, Miss Suzanne. Yeah. Daniel says I liked Galactus, but I thought the one from Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer pretty cool. Yeah, even though a lot of people did not like him. Well, okay. With Silver Surfer, Daniel, that one, Galactus was just like this big glob thing in the sky and whatever. But if you remember the comics, the Galactus they showed in this Fantastic Four is the original Galactus. The one, the devourer of worlds and everything like that, devourer of worlds. Yeah, big, strong, looks like a regular, yeah, alien. I mean, yes, that to me, I really enjoyed because Galactus looked the way he was supposed to. Yeah, maybe Thursday, but it'd have to be before 3 for our review. Okay, all right. Well, how does this sound to you, Scott? Why don't we just go ahead and do a review around 12:30 p.m. Eastern time? Uh, Hopefully that'll be okay for your time, and we can talk about it. Okay, sure, that'd be great. I'll see if I can set that up then. If that's all right with you, we can do that. Sure. And anybody else here in the chat, if you've seen Fantastic Four and you're friends with me on Facebook, let me know. Maybe we can also get you up on the panel so we can talk about the movie. Yeah, that'd be cool. Jay says, I have never seen Red Dwarf. I miss Blake 7, though. Hello, darling. Hey, Jay. Jay said hello to you, babe. Yeah, cool. Yeah, our brother Jay. He and Renee, what a good couple. All right. And Milk says, I sure like the Silver Surfer in the X-Men game for Sega. Oh, yeah. I've heard about that X-Men game. Yeah, that's cool. Wow. Okay, so we got 6 people that have hit the like button. Remember, don't forget, if you really do enjoy this video today, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. We have 280 wonderful family subscribers in our community. We only need 20 more to get to 300 as our next goal, our next step. And soon when we get to 500, I have more than enough watch hours. I'll be able to be monetized. And we're about 200 away from that. So, yeah, let's try to get to that goal, shall we, before the end of the year. Yep, we still have 6 people watching. Very cool.
I'm looking the back.
Let's see. Okay, Larry says, Mike, I will be editing the trip to New Mexico soon. Lots of videos. Everybody else who hasn't had a chance to drop by my channel, here it is. Awesome. Thank you, brother Larry. So, everyone, again, here in the chat, there is a link to Be Yourself Adventures to Larry's channel on YouTube. Please check it out. It's got a lot of great content there. Travels all over Arizona. He's been to Nevada. He's been to California. He's been to some places there in New Mexico, especially El Rancho Hotel. He's been there a few times. So, yeah, please check it out. Oh, and a big hug from Larry to you, Suzanne.
Big hug back to Larry.
All right, honey, be careful. Trust no one. All right? Yeah, just get the drinks after your appointment, babe. Take care of that first. I love you. Okay. Yeah, my wife's got some important stuff to do, so she had to go. Let's see. Daniel says, Galactus is my favorite Fantastic Four villain. Kane is my second. And finally, Doctor Doom is 3. Yes. And, oh, by the way, I'm not going to tell you why, because if you haven't seen it yet, please go see it. But there is a great end credits scene, which tells you that Kevin Feige is moving this all the way. This is part of the canon of uh, you know, Phase 5. So it's going to lead eventually to Avengers Doomsday. And also, Avengers Secret Wars will be before that. And then, of course, what's the other thing? Oh, and then there is a very end post-credit scene. Yeah, and I don't want to spoil it. So make sure you guys check out after the credits. Renee said, "Don't make me spank you." I thought she was talking about you, Mikey, but no, Suze. I said, "Babe." Kinky girl. Yeah. Larry says, "See, Mike is being himself too." Right. I am trying to be myself. I always try that. Hey, come on, you. There we go. See, Mike is being himself too. You guys gotta always be yourself. Just be that. I can always try to be a superhero. Uh, the main thing is you got to be exactly who we are, if that makes sense. Yeah, exactly. Brother Jay says, "Playing for her for a safe trip." Brother Larry says, "Good morning, Brother Jay." Jay says, "Good morning. Hello, Brother Larry." And Scott says, "You ever heard of Don Turtelli?" Don Turtelli. Why does that sound familiar? Hmm. No, Scott. I can honestly say I it sounds familiar, but the name, but no. Hmm. Weird. Well, you can tell me in the comments. That's fine. All right, so let's go on to our next one. We got a lot to cover, folks. Okay. But I'm at Don Turtelli. Okay, so I know where I'm at. All right, let's take a look at Siliconia, and this aired the following week, October 12th, 2017, and it got a 7.1 out of 10. So this one, the first one got a C plus for me, but this one got a C, definitely. Um, Directed by Doug Naylor, the Dwarfers are captured by a militant mechanoid group intent on liberating Crichton and enslaving the others. And of course, the writers were Rob Grant and Doug Naylor, and the usual cast of characters. And on this one, we're just going to check on two people. We're going to look at Rusty, who was played by James Buckley, and we're going to look at Marcus Garvey, who plays the Chairbot Excalibur. So, yeah, we're going to take a look at those two gentlemen. Okay. So let's look at trivia here. Okay. And let's see. The clean off duel to the death between Lister and Crichton is a bit of an inside joke. From 1998 through 2004, Craig Charles hosted a show called Robot Wars, which featured the robots facing off against each other in an arena. While in their cell doing menial tasks, Lister is making sandwiches. This is the same as Arthur Dent's occupation in Mostly Harmless. That's the fifth book in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series. There was a real life organization called MILF. It's called the Moro Islamic Liberation Front. It's a Moro, a Philippines faction seeking independence from central government. And the episode was released online a week early as part of the Dave Channel's UK TV Play service. The episode could be streamed online from the 12th of October. Oh, very cool. All right. And let's see. Okay, now unfortunately there was no uh, goofs on this, but I do have a soundtrack. And of course, that's the Red Dwarf theme, written by Howard Goodall, performed by Jenna Russell. And the filming and production of this particular episode was the interiors of it, and then the SS Vespasian, which is the name of the ship, were made at the Kempton Park pumping station in Middlesex, England. Ah, he said Middlesex. He. Yeah, exactly. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at those two gentlemen from the cast and crew, and then we'll tell you what episodes are next week, and then we'll go on to TOS. Okay, so let's see. Dun dun dun. All right. So James Buckley, he's an actor, producer, and soundtrack. He was born August 14th, 1987. So in about 9 days from now, he'll turn the age of 38. That's cool. He was born in Croydon, 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 England. He is an actor and producer known for The Inbetweeners 2 in 2014, The Inbetweeners in 2011, and Charlie Countryman in 2013. He has been married to Claire Buckley since November 2nd, 2012, and they have two children. He was also in a movie called There's Never Enough Time in 2018. And he has been nominated for one BAFTA award. Very cool. Okay. So yeah, like I said, he played the role of Jay Cartwright in the In-Betweeners set of movies, both in 2011 and 2014. In 2013, In Between, he played the role of Luke in Charlie Countryman. And in 2016, he was in a movie called Pop Star Never Stop, Never Singing. Or, I'm sorry, Never Stop, Never Stopping. Whatever. And he played the role of Sponge in that. And lately, he worked on Oasis, The Reunion, the movie was a movie short where he plays the role of Liam Gallagher this year. And then upcoming, he has he plays the role of Jake in a movie later this year called Mother's Pride. It's in post production right now. And oh yes, he did appear on Doctor Who for one episode in 2020 in that TV series. It was from season 12, episode 3, called Orphan 55, where he played the role of Nevi in that Doctor Who. Cool. All right, so that is the man James Buckley. All right, now we'll take a look at the other one. Okay, and that is Marcus. That is Marcus Garvey, who plays the Chairbot Excalibur. Okay, just an actor, and he's known for Four Lions in 2010, Eurovision Song Contest, The Story of Fire Saga, or the Fire Saga in 2020, and Broadchurch in 2013. So in Four Lions, he played the Marathon Policeman in 2010. 2013, in Broadchurch TV series, he was in 4 episodes as Pete Lawson. In 2016, he played in 2 episodes of Stella, which was a TV series. And in that one, that was season 5, both episodes 9 and 10, where he played Oak in that series. And then in 2020, he was the Eurovision director of Eurovision Song Contest, the story of Fire Saga. Okay. And currently, it says he was in one episode of a TV series called Disclaimer, where he plays Charles. And that's from season 1, episode 4. And then he is upcoming. He's, which just completed, and it'll come out later, something called Steve. I am assuming he plays Steve. That's all there is there. So that's Marcus Garvey. Okay. Okay. All right. So that takes care of Red Dwarf. I think we're making pretty good time. All right. So let's see. All right. So next Monday, we'll have 2 more episodes of Red Dwarf. Episode 3 from season 12 is called Time Wave. And then episode 4 is called Mecoc. It's really hard to say. Mechocracy. There we go. Mechocracy. Nice. Okay. You know these guys. They come up with the weirdest titles and stuff. Okay. Alrighty then. So that is next week. Next Monday for Red Dwarf. We're almost done. Okay. All right, let's get to Star Trek. And before we start this next episode, let's go ahead and take a look at where we were at here. Okay. Yeah. Okay, and Jay says, praying for her for a safe trip. Thank you, Jay. Good morning, Brother Jay. Hello, Brother Larry. Ever heard of Don Tortelli? No. All right, brother. I gotta jump in the shower. I got things to do. Love you, everybody. Take care of the chat prayers. Love you too, Brother Larry. Take care, my brother. Oh, he's a mobster from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles who likes to tickle people. Oh, okay. Very cool. Um, Jay Aldridge also says he's got to go. Love you all. God bless. You're all in my prayers. You're all in my prayers. Thank you, Jay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Um, Larry says, Brother Jay, God bless you as well. And hey, LDG, I so was hearing something else when you were trying to say that. What was that, LDG? Um, Curtis Selby, or Curtis says howdy to Jay Aldridge. All right, Daniel says, dude, do you know when the next pandemic will come out? I heard a report from the UN that said that 2027 will be a turbulent year and people will have to be careful. Sounds ominous. Yeah, it does sound ominous. I'm not looking forward to it, believe me. But you know what? I'm not going to worry about it after I turn 60. Whatever happens, right now, when after I turn 60, uh, yeah, all bets are off. Then, got to figure out what's going to happen after that. But I'll be with Suzanne the rest of my life, so I know that for sure. Curtis says howdy to Larry. Curtis says howdy to Scott. Curtis says also a howdy do to and hail and well met to LDG Free the Net. Yes. Very cool. Thanks for joining us, LDG. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get to the first of the two episodes we're going to do today from Star Trek. There's some information, but not a lot, so I should be able to get through this pretty fast. Hopefully, I will. But yeah, let's go with season 2, and we're on Who Mourns for Adonais is the first one. That was episode 2, and then the episode 3 featured Nomad, the Changeling. So now it says here that over 4,400 people have rated Who Mourns for Adonai a 7.1 out of 10. I disagree. Um, I really think it was a very well done episode. I believe the last time I voted on it, I gave it about an A minus. I think, yeah. Um, mine was about a Mine was about a 4.6 out of 10, I think it was. Or I'm sorry, a 9.2 out of 10. So, yeah, I gave it about an A minus. I thought it was very well done. Nomad, 7.5 out of 10 from over 4,000 people. The Changeling. Again, I sort of agree with that, but I think I went ahead and just gave it a B, a straight up B, like 8 out of 10 for myself. So yeah, yeah. I did like both and don't forget, um from Adonai, remember that Vic Monona continued the story on his Star Trek Continues series, which is called Pilgrim of Eternity, and that was the very first episode of 11 that he did for his series. So that actually picked up the story a few years later in space time where it left off when they left him, in the planet. He disappeared, but then they found out he came back. So yeah, that was very cool. That was very cool. And next week we're doing Mirror Mirror, which also from Vic Monona's series on episode 3, which is called The Fairest of Them All. It continues that story, but from the alternate mirror universe, which has the Terran Empire. Yeah, that's gonna be great next week. I hope to. I'm looking forward to doing that one. So yeah, that's Mirror Mirror. That'll be next week. Okay. Oh, and I might as well say, along with Mirror Mirror, we'll do the Apple. That's the other episode. So episode 4, episode 5 next week, next Monday for TOS season 2. Okay, but let's get to these first two. These next two here. Okay, and as you know, this episode aired. This episode aired on my birthday, 1967, September 22nd. So I was 2 years old when it came out. Woohoo! And a powerful being claiming to be the Greek god Apollo appears and demands that the crew of the Enterprise disembark onto his planet to worship him. The director of the episode is Mark Daniels, and Gilbert Ralston and Gene Roddenberry were the writers of the episode. And of course, we're going to take a look at not only Michael Forrest, who plays Apollo, but we'll also look at Leslie Parrish, who played Carolyn, and we'll also take a look at John Winston, who played Lieutenant Kyle in this episode. Everybody else was there, Kirk, Spock, Dr. McCoy, Scotty, Sulu, Uhura, and of course Chekhov, and then Lieutenant Kyle. Okay, so let's take a look at the trivia. First of all right. Now, the title is taken from Adonais, an elegy on the death of John Keats, which is a book by Percy Bysshe Shelley. Line 415 reads, "Who mourns for Adonais?" Shelley's Adonais is derived from Adonais, who is a male figure of Greek mythology associated with fertility. Also, Adonai would be the English plural of the Hebrew spoken name of God. The Hebrew word Adonai simply means Lord. So this title would mean who mourns for the gods. In the original script, the gods and other mythological figures were mentioned in their Latin names, but in the revised final draft and the finished episode, they are called by their Greek equivalents, possibly at the suggestion of series researcher Kellum DeForest. Michael Forrest recalled working with his co-stars. Leslie Parrish was a delightful person to work with. No problems, never any difficulties. We would just discuss what we were going to do, and we would do it. She was excellent and very personable. William Shatner was a bit of a problem, however. You never saw me standing with him. We were always in different shots. We would be talking to one another, but we wouldn't be on camera at the same time. I'm sure that's what he stipulated because I was so much taller. The producers were looking for someone with an English dialect and Shakespearean theatrics to pull off the Apollo role. First, they wanted to find someone in England, but rather decided to look for an actor at the San Diego Shakespeare Festival. The head of the theater recommended Michael Forrest, who was already in Hollywood making films at the time. Forrest was called in for an audition, where he first had to take off his shirt to let them see if he had the muscles needed for the part. Next, they asked him to read some lines in a British accent. Forrest refused, claiming he couldn't do it, but is able to speak in a mid-Atlantic accent, probably more suitable for the character. He did it, and they gave him the role. William Shatner was so concerned with the height disparity that he disallowed any shots which would show him and the much taller Michael Forrest side by side in the same frame. According to Forrest, whenever Shatner would speak to him, he'd notice him inadvertently standing on his tiptoes. Okay. And there's a cameo in this movie, in the series. Gene Roddenberry's hand. The hand that's seen stopping and holding the Enterprise in place. That's Gene Roddenberry's hand. That's so cute. Okay. There's a spoiler alert here. If you haven't seen this episode yet, and why not? But, put your hands on your ears for a moment. Okay. All right. So an abandoned ending to this episode would have revealed that Palamas was pregnant by Apollo, and see Apocrypha. Shortly after the production of the episode concluded, costume designer William Ware Thies, who designed the gown of Palamas, said that he preferred this ending. Because I'm hung up on Greek mythology, I always preferred the script. In the version the studio killed, wherein the ending is bittersweet rather than tragic. Dr. McCoy discovers the young female officer is due to bear the child of Apollo. This was retained in the novelization. Wow, very cool. Okay, let's take a look at the goofs. All right, first there's continuity. When Captain Kirk tells Lieutenant Palamas to spurn Apollo, as she stands up and walks away from him, she has some kind of red mark on the side of her nose, like a scar or an indent from wearing glasses. Yet in the next scene with Apollo, it is gone completely, probably due to makeup. Factual errors. Scotty uses the unit GSM for pressure. There is no such unit. It is possible that GSM is supposed to be grams per square meter. The gram is a unit of mass and not force, and pressure is force per unit of area. The correct metric unit for pressure is newtons per square meter, which is the Pascal. When Sulu reverses polarity, there are several sounds that sound like explosions, and the crew is jolted as if being knocked around. Sulu reports the action didn't even phase the force, which means the Enterprise did not move, so no one should have been jolted. While very dramatic, it is physically impossible. Okay, here's an anachronism. Apollo and others completely refer to the Trojan War time period as 5,000 years ago. Since the Trojan War happened in the 13th century BCE, this would place Star Trek's setting sometime in the 37th century CE. All other references throughout the series indicate a date of no later than the 31st century, before the writers settled on the 23rd. There's a plot hole. At 1 minute 22 seconds, Spock refers to Apollo, or at minute 22, I'm sorry, at the 22-minute mark. Spock refers to Apollo by name. Apollo told his name only to the landing party and not to the people left on the ship. Okay, here's a plot hole spoiler. When the Enterprise fires on the temple, the hand force field is gone. Spock said that their emitted energy could only negate part of the field, not the whole field. Furthermore, if they could completely negate this field, then they could just beam the landing party up and leave any time. The omission of a visible hand was corrected in the 2006 CGI remaster. Cool. All right, there's finally for this episode a couple character errors. Lieutenant Palamas says that in ancient literature, Apollo was the son of the god Zeus, an immortal named Leto. All known classical references state that Leto was a Titaness, a member of the elder gods. When Apollo is mentioning names, he consistently uses Greek mythology, but then he says Hercules. Hercules was the Roman name. The proper Greek would have been Heracles. All right. Scotty's constant insubordination and not following the captain's direct orders should result in disciplinary action or even a court martial. Wow. Yeah, but he doesn't get that at all, does he? Yeah, well, there you go. Okay. All right. And of course, you have the theme song to the show, Alexander Courage, and of course the by Luli G. Norman, who we talked about before. Okay, and filming and production at Desilu. This episode was filmed between the dates of May 31st, 1967, and June 8th, 1967. So about 8 days it took to film this episode. Okay. Well, we've only got one more left, but for now, let's go ahead and take a look at cast and crew. Okay. And like I said, we'll look at Michael Forrest. And yes, he's still alive. He's an actor. He's also worked on additional crew and sound department. He was born April 17th, 1929. So currently, he is 96 years old. That's really cool. 6'3" and weighing in at a lean, mean 215 pounds. Michael Forrest was a rugged-looking addition to the Roger Corman and Gene Corman's list of leading men during their 1950s heyday. Between Corman films, He was a stage actor who worked in Shakespearean plays and other legitimate productions as classy as his real name, which is Gerald Michael Charlevoix. Born in Harvey, North Dakota, he moved with his family at a very early age to Seattle, Washington, attended the University of Washington for a year, and then has made his way south. Okay. In 1976, he was in a movie called The Message where he played Khalid. In 1986, he was in a movie King Kong Lives where he played Vance. In 1993, he was in a movie called Ninja Scroll where he played Shogunate Envoy. And then in Castaway, he was Pilot Jack in 2000 with, the great Tom Hanks. So, cool. And the last thing he's worked on so far, he was back in 2020. He starred as himself in a project called Unbelievable with lots of exclamation points. Okay. So good. I'm glad Michael Forrest is still alive. Okay. And let's see. Let's see who else we got. Okay. So Leslie Parrish. Yep, and Leslie is still alive. She's an actress, a writer, and she's worked on additional crew. And she was born March 18th, 1935. So she just turned the age of 90. Wow, that's cool. She started as a model and in 1955 became an actress. She acted under her birth name Marjorie Helen until 1959. Afterwards, she was known as Leslie Parrish. She appeared in more than 100 TV shows. She is known as one of the first women producers. She's always had a passion for music. She was involved in social causes such as the Vietnam War. She met the airplane pilot and writer Richard D. Bach during the making of Jonathan Livingston Seagull movie in 1973, and they married in 1981, but they divorced in 1999. Okay. All right. In 1962, she was Jocelyn Jordan in The Manchurian Candidate, which featured Angela Lansbury. Very good movie. And like we said, she was Carolyn Palamas, the scientist here in the Star Trek episode. And she was in Little Abner in 1959 movie, where she played Daisy May Scragg. And in the Giant Spider Invasion, she played Ev, and that was in 1975. And the last thing she worked on from 1974 to 1975, or 78, I'm sorry, she worked in Police Story TV series in 2 episodes. In season 1, episode 15, The Ripper, she played Mrs. Delaley. And in season 5, episode 6, she played No Margin for Error episode where she was Georgie Hayes. Very cool. So that is Leslie Parrish. I'm glad she's still around too. Okay. Alrighty. And let's see. Yeah. And last but not least, we'll go ahead and take a look at Lieutenant Kyle John Winston. All right. We did lose John Winston, the actor, in 2019. He was born October 24th, 1927, and unfortunately he died September 19th, 2019 at the age of 91. John Winston's major contribution to popular culture was his portrayal of Lieutenant Kyle on the original series of Star Trek. His character, appearing in a total of 11 episodes, was either seen as a transporter operator or as part of bridge personnel, where he would mostly act as a helmsman. He also appeared in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, as Kyle. Unfortunately, his character was never given enough airtime. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, so he did that in 1982, 11 episodes for the original series. He was in Star Trek Phase 2 as Captain Jeffries in 2004 for 1 episode. That was Season 4, Episode 0, Come What May, Captain Jeffries. He was in that one that James Cawley did, called the Phase 2, or also known as Star Trek New Voyages. So he appeared in that. That's cool. And he was in The Man from U.N.C.L.E. in 1966. He actually played an uncle agent in the King of Diamonds affair in 1966, season 2, episode 25. So very cool. Alrighty. Yeah. So the last thing he worked on was James Cawley's episode Come What May in 2004 as Captain Jeffries. That is so cool. So he did get to work in Star Trek related stuff for his last role. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay. Alrighty. So let's go back here. All right. And so we'll go ahead and do our next episode, which is The Changeling. That'll be the last one for today. And until next week. So let's go ahead and look at the chat. Alrighty. And Curtis said howdy to LDG. I think that was the last thing I read. Daniel said Paramount Skydance will never restore the original Trek reality. They just don't give a crap. Yeah, that's true, Daniel. Booger414. Hey, Booger. And welcome also his wonderful wife, Christine. Hello, Booger. How are you, sir? I haven't seen you for a while. He says, hey, Mikey, I'm watching for a bit while riding a train. Oh, awesome. He says, I think in some ways they do care. They don't want us fans to feel empowered by claiming victory over the revisionist. Oh, that makes sense. Rare snowfall in New South Wales, Australia. Wow. Brother Jay. Wow. Okay. Well, that's where we're at so far. Wow. We've got 8 likes and 8 people watching. This is awesome. Thank you so much, folks. I really do appreciate that. It means the world to me. It really does. Okay. I'm just trying to get caught up here. So let's see. All right. Okay. So now we're looking at the Changeling. That'll be our last one today. I'm just trying to get caught up on the series here. Curtis says, howdy to Booger. Hakeem says, I think the only way we get another Star Trek is if someone else makes it and then calls it a different name. I agree. I don't know if you folks have already seen the trailer for Star Trek Starfleet Academy, but get this. They show Robert Picardo as an admiral. He is an emergency medical hologram, but now he's been made into solid light or hard light, I guess, and now he's an admiral. Go figure, right? Okay. Curtis Self, and it also features. What is her name? She was in. She was in Superman, Man of Steel. She played that senator that got blown up by Jesse Eisenberg. Do you guys remember her name? If you don't, I'll look it up later. But she is the main. It looks like she's one of the main characters in Star Trek Starfleet Academy. Y'all have to check out the trailer. It's available right now on YouTube. So, yeah. Okay. Curtis says, I think we are watching Nick at Night on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Central. Okay. Jay says, tell me God ain't coming back. There's the signs. Hakeem says, hey, Booger 414. Jay says, howdy to Hakeem. Booger says, holograms have rights too? Apparently so in Starfleet Academy there, Booger. Yeah, I heard that Starfleet Academy may have been canceled before a single episode aired. Wow, that's interesting. That's true. If that's true, yeah. But like I said, the trailer for it is still up on YouTube somewhere. Yeah, so go look it up. I mean, it's weird. Jay Aldrich says they are canceling Starfleet Academy before it airs. This may be the only season. Oh, wow. Wow, okay. I didn't know that, but wow, that's amazing. Yeah. Okay, so let's get to the Changeling as soon as we can get through this. Okay, so it aired the following week, September 29th, 1967. Like I said, I was now 2 years old at the time, and my brother wasn't even thought of yet. Or no, I take that back. He was actually born September 11th, 1967. So my brother was only 18 days old when the Changeling came out. Interesting. Okay, a powerful, artificially intelligent Earth probe with a murderously twisted imperative comes aboard the Enterprise and mistakes Captain Kirk for its creator, Jackson Roy Kirk. The director is Mark Daniels, and of course, John Meredith Lucas and Gene Roddenberry both wrote the episode. Okay, in this episode, it features Kirk, Spock, Dr. McCoy, Scotty, Uhura, Sulu, Christine Chapel, and let's see. And that's it, I guess. And then some other people that are uncredited. So we're just going to concentrate on two. Mikey K. Blaisdell played Singh, Singh. And then there is Vic Perrin, who was the voice of Nomad. So we will take a look at the two of them after we get through all this stuff here. Okay. All right, in trivia, the biographical photo of scientist Jackson Roy Kirk is of the director himself, Mark Daniels, wearing Scotty's dress uniform. In conventions, Nichelle Nichols, who played Uhura, frequently tells the story of getting into a dispute with director Mark Daniels over the filming of this episode, as it had already been established that Uhura's first language was Swahili. Nichols believed that after her mind was erased, Uhura would revert to her first language. However, as Nichols herself did not speak Swahili, Daniels wanted Uhura to just speak English. Nichols refused to, telling Daniels, Nichelle Nichols doesn't speak Swahili, but Uhura does. Gene Roddenberry was eventually brought in to settle the dispute, and he sided with Nichols. Well, of course, he slept with her too, so that makes sense. A linguist specializing in Swahili was then brought in to write the few lines of Swahili that are spoken in the episode. Although never credited, this episode, which depicted an Earth-launched space probe that acquires almost unimaginable powers in the course of the search for its creator, became the inspiration behind Star Trek: The Motion Picture in 1979, with V'ger. It also inspired the Questor Tapes, which was a movie in 1974 that was a rejected series pilot written by Gene Roddenberry and Gene L. Kuhn, which also featured a robot with a damaged memory who searched for its creator. For this season, some fans have appended to the 1979 movie the punning subtitle where Nomad has gone before. Nomad was launched from Earth in 2002. Lieutenant Leslie has two unusual aspects in this episode. First, he is at the helm, and he's wearing a gold uniform as opposed to the red uniform that he is normally seen in. Okay. And here's a couple of the spoilers. All right, so put your hands over your ears if you have not seen the episode. Okay. This marks one of 4 times Kirk is able to talk a computer to death. This technique is also used in The Return of the Archons in 1967, I, Mud, my favorite episode of all time, in 1967, and The Ultimate Computer in 1968. Honorable mention does go for What Are Little Girls Made Of in 1966, where Kirk talked the robots into fighting amongst themselves. Security guard and red shirt casualties are 5, including Scotty, who is brought back to life. At the end of the episode, Kirk makes a joke about being proud to have a son who's a doctor. He would learn about 15 years later that he did indeed have a son who became a doctor, although not a medical one. Boy, talk about foreshadowing. Okay. All right, let's look at the goofs here. Okay, in continuity, when Nomad is supposedly emerging from sickbay after attacking Chapel to see Kirk's records, he is instead seen emerging from the turbolift. When the security team is escorting Nomad back to the holding area, he goes his own way. As one of the security crewmen orders him to stop, he begins to reach for his phaser, but in the next camera angle, he already has his phaser out and trained on Nomad. In the final scene on the bridge, there is a blonde communications officer sitting at her station in the wider shot. As the scene cuts back and forth between close-ups of Captain Kirk and the wider shots, there is nobody sitting at the communications station in the close-ups, yet there is in the wider shots. At around the 30-minute mark, when the sick bay doors open and Nomad comes out after reading Captain Kirk's medical file, his antenna is extended, but in the next shot, when he enters the hallway, it is retracted. During the opening attack, within the first few minutes, Uhura's position changes between shots. She alternates between the right and left-hand side of the captain's chair, and she appears and disappears too. At the end of the attack, a ginger-haired red shirt appears appears near the captain's chair where Uhura fell. Okay. In auxiliary control, Spock uses a tabletop computer viewer to research Nomad. He, Kirk, and McCoy leave the room so Nomad won't hear them talking. When the scene switches back to auxiliary control shortly thereafter, the viewer has swiveled around 180 degrees. After Nomad has scanned Scott's medical data on the bridge at Spock's station, McCoy leads the probe to the turbolift, passing Uhura's station where the chair is missing. A few seconds later, the chair is back at the communication station. When Nomad zaps Scotty for trying to rescue Uhura, Sulu is seen grabbing Uhura to safety. When the angle cuts to Scotty falling, Uhura and Sulu are instantly gone, even though they should still be visible at that point. After Kirk instructs Sulu and the female ensign holding the newly memory-wiped Uhura to take her to sickbay, and they go to the turbolift, there's neither a shot of them entering it nor the sounds of the doors opening and closing. Yet only shortly afterwards, upon Lieutenant Leslie and the other bridge crewmen carrying Mr. Scott in the lift to the lift, its doors and sound operate normally. Of the two guards who accompany Spock to engineering and then wait outside in the corridor, the one on Spock's right is the same tow-headed guard who on Nomad busting out of the brig hitherto is standing to and firing from screen right when they are both vaporized by Nomad. Okay, and here's the spoiler. When Nomad is resurrecting Scotty in sickbay, Nurse Chapel is standing near Scotty's right arm. Changes in camera view from near Scotty's right shoulder don't have her in view, even when she is holding his arm in the previous view. Okay, there's a few, let's see here. Yeah, there's just a couple left. Okay. So I'll try to get through these as fast as I can. All right. Okay, so there are some factual errors. When Nomad is firing at the Enterprise, Spock states that Nomad is 90,000 kilometers away and that the energy bolts are moving at warp 15. At that distance, even if they were moving at warp 1, their impact would be virtually instantaneous. When Spock, Kirk, and McCoy view a diagram that shows the various parts of the Nomad probe, the lower right of the diagram contains the annotation Computer Data Banks Recall and Transmission. Should read transmission, but it's spelled out transmitten. Weird. Additionally, magnetohydrodynamic should read magnetohydrodynamic, and spirographic should read spherographic. Wow. Talk about spell checker freak shows there. Uhura's memory is erased, but her mind is emptied and then left blank. Yet she is trained to read up to a first grade level and converse in Swahili in about an hour. But all of her memories before this moment would be gone forever. And since people's personalities are also the sum of the experiences they have lived, she would in reality not be the same Uhura, even if she was brought up to speed on training, language, etc. This would have affected her character for the rest of the series, as well as the 6 feature films. No attempt is made to explain her remarkably rapid progress, but since it is also never thoroughly explained what exactly Nomad did to her, it is anyone's speculation as to how quickly she could recover. When the Enterprise first encounters Nomad, the Enterprise fires back with a photon torpedo after several hits from Nomad. The torpedo hits and explodes, and the entire bridge crew reacts to the explosion's light and sound effect. However, in the next set of lines, Spock reveals that the object Nomad absorbed the full energy of the torpedo. If the full energy was absorbed, what was the explosion of sound and light? Nomad attacks the Enterprise at range with what Spock describes as a bolt of energy. As a straight line attack, the Enterprise could have easily avoided it by moving laterally instead of straight back. And on this one, when Sulu first reports the object approaching, he says that it's coming at multi-warp speed. He should either have given a specific warp speed or said that it's exceeding the Enterprise maximum warp. Okay. Then there's an incorrectly regarded as goof. Uhura had to be retrained in the ability to communicate, including the ability to read and speak. The scene in sickbay shows her struggling with English, but somehow she's able to speak perfectly good Swahili without any training. She would need training for any language. This is a misconception. And as people with memory loss, for example, Korsakoff syndrome, amnesia, grand mal seizure, will very often forget second or possible even higher languages, even if they've been speaking their second language for decades and not muttered a word of their native language in said decades, and will revert back to their native language. Okay, revealing mistakes. During Nomad's initial attack on the Enterprise, the bridge crew reacted to the hit so violently that the helm navigation console is lifted clear off the ground and almost tipped over. And a wire suspending the Nomad probe is visible in numerous scenes, namely at the 23-minute 30-second mark when Nomad hovers over to Spock's computer to read up on human anatomy, and at the 28-minute 20-second mark in the brig before Spock performs a mind meld. When Nomad breaks out of the brig and two security crewmen fire their phasers at him, the crewman on the left assumes an expression of shock and pain several seconds before Nomad fires back at them. There is no reason for him to do this prior to Nomad's attack, and the crewman at the right times his reactions correctly. Right, there's a few plot holes. Nomad's initial attack, according to Spock, was equivalent to 90 photon torpedoes, yet caused no damage other than weakening Enterprise's shields by 20%. At no other point in the entire series has the Enterprise been so resistant to attack, suffering far worse damage from lesser attacks from the Klingons, Romulans, Orions, and others. When Spock mind melds with Nomad, Nomad would acquire Spock's knowledge of Kirk's true identity. Spock would acquire at least some of Nomad's knowledge of Warp 15 weapons, warp drive improvements, and medical technology. The crew is often thrown about the ship in battle or confrontations with aliens, yet nobody fought to install seatbelts on the ship's chairs. Okay, that's the first time I heard that. All right, Nomad, when confronted with his own error, should have recognized his own flaw with lightning computer speed and destroyed itself while still in engineering, thereby taking Kirk and the whole Enterprise with itself, rather than conveniently trying to reason out incredibly slowly by computer standards whether it was faulty or not. Nomad should have figured out that its own directive is flawed. Everything it encounters is imperfect. Therefore, it should have come to the conclusion that nothing is perfect. And it says after Nomad examines Kirk's history, he would have found out immediately that he was not Jackson Roy Kirk. Kirk's history would have revealed his career to entirely with Starfleet, and that at no point in his life created the Nomad probe. Although Nomad's memory banks were altered due to damage, he knew that a Kirk was his creator. Reviewing Captain Kirk's records would have revealed he's not the correct one. Okay, there's a boom mic visible at the 28-minute 20-second mark in the brig's top security cell, where Spock is going to mind meld with Nomad. The shadow of a boom mic can be seen on the wall in the upper left corner of the screen. All right. And finally, there's a few character errors. In the last scene on the bridge, Kirk is cracking jokes about Nomad in a lighthearted manner, which is not in keeping with the situation. 4 or 5 crewmen have been killed, and billions are dead in the Malurian system. Spock states that the Enterprise's shields absorb the equivalent of 90 photon torpedoes worth of energy. Yet when Nomad absorbs 1 photon torpedo of energy, Kirk acts genuinely astonished and asks if Spock's sensor equipment is damaged. Why would he be that amazed if his ship just absorbed 90 times that amount of energy? When Nomad attacks Scotty, two crew members rush to check on him, but McCoy inexplicably waits for Kirk to tell him to. And when Nomad leaves engineering on Kirk's order to go back to the brig waiting area after the captain slips up, revealing himself to be merely another biological unit, one of the two security guards is slightly taller and wearing an ensign red shirt. But when during Captain Kirk's log entry they emerge from the turbolift, the ensign has upgraded both to lieutenant stripes and an altogether different man with the same height as the other, who has not changed in rank or appearance. Wow, that was a lot. Okay, let's go with soundtrack. Okay, so besides the theme, done with Alexander Courage and sung by, Lulu Jean Norman, there is a song performed that when Nomad hears it, he goes and erases Uhura's memory. The song is called Beyond Antares, and it was written by Wilbur Hatch and Gene L. Kuhn, and it was performed by Nichelle, but also Marl Young, Lorindo Almeida, and Catherine Gotthofer, who were all uncredited, performed the song. That is so cool. Okay. And finally, the filming and production at Desilu was done between July 6th, 1967 and July 13th, 1967. So exactly a week like they normally do. So that's cool. Okay. All right. And last but not least, we'll look at Mikey K. Blaisdell, who played Singh, and Vic Perrin, who was the voice of Nomad. So we'll take a look at this. Okay, Mikey K. Blaisdell did pass away in 1988. She was born November 15th, 1931, and died February 21st, 1988, at an age of 56. That's very young. She was born November 15th in 1931 in Honolulu, Hawaii. I'm sorry, not she, he. Sorry about that. Anyway, he was an actor known for Star Trek, Johnny Lingo, and The Cult in 1971. Lingo was in 1969. He died in Ventura County, California, like I said, at the age of 56, February 21st, 1988. Okay, now Singh was in 2 episodes. This was his second one, because in the first one he played the role of Spinelli, and that was in Space Seed, the one that featured Ricardo Montalban as Khan. Yeah, so that was season 1, episode 22 I covered earlier. And then, of course, this one, The Changeling, he plays Singh. So, yeah, very cool. In The Cult, he was Invar. That was in 1971. In Johnny Lingo, he was Johnny Lingo, the main actor and character in it, in 1969. And he did 1 episode of I Spy in 1966, with Robert Culp and Bill Cosby. He was in season 1, episode 21, episode called Return to Glory, and he played a sniper. Oh, that's cool. Okay. And the last thing he worked on was the Cult movie in 1971 as Ingvar. All right, cool. All right, so that was Mikey Blaisdell. And then we've got Vic Perrin, who does Nomad's voice. And we did lose Vic Perrin in 1989. He was an actor, writer, additional crew, and he was born April 26, 1916, in Menominee Falls in Wisconsin. He was an actor and writer known for Watchmen in 2009, Star Trek in 1966, and Gunsmoke in 1955. He was married to Rita Singer and Evelyn Held. He died on July 4th, 1989 in Los Angeles. He was only 73. And it says here he was a control voice in Watchmen. So posthumously, they used his voice in the soundtrack in 2009 after he had already been passed away 20 years ago. Wow. Okay. 1955 to 1956 to 1964, he worked on 5 episodes of Gunsmoke, played different characters. In Star Trek, he was in the Menagerie Part 2 as the Keeper, Season 1, Episode 12. In Season 1, Episode 18, in Arena, he was the voice of the Metron. Then, of course, he played Nomad in The Changeling. And then on the next episode, Mirror Mirror, he plays Tarn, Tharn. Wow. So he did 4 episodes of Star Trek. That's very cool. Then in Mission Impossible, he played 12 different characters, and he was in 12 episodes of that from 1967 to 1971. And in 1986, it says the last voice over he did was Dr. Zinn in The New Adventures of Johnny Quest in an episode called Deadly Junket from Season 1, Episode 4. So, and then, of course, they posthumously took his voice in 2009 for The Watchmen and put it out there as a control voice. Nice. So, Vic Perrin. That was his biography. Okay. Well, we are done. So, we'll get to the chat here in just a moment. Next week, as I said, we're going to look at Mirror Mirror from episode 4 and season 2, and then The Apple, season 2, episode 5. Okay, so that'll be next week. Okay. Let's see. And again, guys and folks, I am sorry that I'm not quite caught up, but I'm trying. I'm just trying to finish up everything. But I got 5 people still watching and 8 likes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Really means a lot. Okay. So after the question of Booger saying holograms have rights too, he did say that he heard that Starfleet Academy may have been canceled before a single episode aired. Jay said they are canceling the Starfleet Academy before it airs. This may be the only season. Jay says because of new owners, right? Daniel's Hot Topic said, I saw the trailer for Star Trek Starfleet Academy. I like the time period, the 32nd century, but the rest I am not very excited for because it looks like a teen angst drama with lots of romance, with a lot of romance for the girls. Yeah, it does. It looks like a teenage version of Starfleet Academy, which I do not like. I want more adults. I don't want teenagers. Hakeem said to Daniel, I agree with you. It looks just like that. I bet it's going to be more teenage high school drama. And Hakeem says, Degrassi High in space. Now with more diversity. Yeah. And Booger says spirographic. Were they drawing shapes with wheels and gears in order to calculate their warp speeds? I think so, Booger. He says, I can see how she might have relearned longer term memory faster than shorter term memory. I could see that. Booger says it's only a model, right? And Booger says 99 photon torpedoes on the wall, 99 photon torpedoes. Take one down, shoot it at Nomad. 98 photon torpedoes on the wall. Nice. Jay says 7 volcanoes are erupting since all of the earthquakes. Wow. So it's just going on right now. Oh, thanks for the update there, Jay. Booger says, just had another earthquake in New Jersey. I'm passing through the affected area on the train. Oh, my. Be careful, Booger. Daniel says, New Jersey has an earthquake? I never knew that. Yes, sir. Yeah, centered in the New York, New Jersey area. Booger says, by the way, your talk about Mr. Kyle in the previous episode made me do a bit of a dive into memory beta. Right. That led me to his appearance in one of the best ever Trek comics, Dead of Honor. Yeah, very cool. There are female Gem Hadard. They said that in DS9. Jay said. And then Daniel said, I want to see Star Trek Legacy with 709 and Jack Crusher. I do too. That's actually what I'm looking forward to, Daniel. I truly am. I'm looking forward to that one. I better eat this pizza soon. Okay. All right. So, you know what's coming up next week? I've already announced the episodes for next Monday when we'll get back to regular scheduled programming, hopefully, without anything else coming up. So, I want to thank Booger414 and Christine for being here. Yeah, he says this is the second earthquake in New Jersey in a week. Yeah, I know. I want to thank Daniel's Hot Topics for being here. And Kage says, man, I have 2 doctor's appointments this week and I don't want to. I hear you, Kage. I hear you. But please get through them, my friend. You know, you may need them. You never know. You never know nowadays. So many people dropping like flies back and forth. I'm just saying. Yeah, so let's thank Kage Noctum Gaming, Booger414 and Christine, Daniel's Hot Topics, my brother Jay Aldridge. We also want to thank, let's see, moving up on the list. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. All right, Hakeem, thank you, Hakeem, for being here, as always. Our very first person that applied to our channel and subscribed. Always thank you for that, sir. All right. Curtis Selby, our tired midnight blogger. He has the most polite political discourse on YouTube. And you guys and gals should check him out, as well as everybody else we mentioned today on the chat. Alrighty. And we did mention Daniel. There we go. He was first in the box today. Also want to thank LDG Free the Net. LDG Free the Net is still putting together his Prometheus, as far as I know, a secret project. I hope he completes it because it's going to help change the course of the internet for years to come. So please, we pray for you, LDG, to get that done. Larry, my Be Yourself Adventures brother, who I've known for over 50 years, thank you so much, my friend, for being here. Anchorman, who also is known as Scott. Scott, please let me know by Thursday if you would like to do a quick review, a live stream of Fantastic Four First Steps. That would be great if we could do that together. And if Eli has seen it, we could do it there with him as well. Okay. So there's Be Yourself, there's Jay, Daniel, and Milk for a Snack. Again, congratulations on your new standard membership there. With Renchi, Blue Renchi. So Milk for a Snack, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to come and visit us here at MikeySuzeFour. Don't forget, Larry has his channel, link listed in the chat. Please go there if you haven't subscribed to him yet. All right, there's Anchorman Milk, Kage, Daniel, Hakeem, Curtis, and Daniel, Hakeem. Just going through everybody today. This was fantastic. All of you are wonderful. And Daniel, thank you for being the first in the box today. Okay. Yeah. Well, Kage, I would say go to those appointments. Please. It's probably vital to go. I know you don't want to, but believe me, brother, I think it's a pretty good idea, though. And then Kage says, oh, I forgot to tell you. I got new tarot cards yesterday from the Fallout series. Yeah, you might know the show. Yeah, I do know Fallout. Yeah. That's cool though. Yeah. That's very cool. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, that was in your unboxing, right? Yeah. I remember. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, thank you, Kage. Yeah, thank you for reminding me. Yeah. And so anyway, tomorrow, as I said, I got 2 episodes ready for Get Smart and 2 episodes ready to review for A-Team. And that's, normally done on Tuesdays at 12 noon Eastern. But because of the civic holiday yesterday, we moved it up to Wednesday. So that's when we'll do that. Now, Thursday, we might go ahead and do a quick live stream. And, we'll have a panel of myself and hopefully Scott, Anchorman, so we could talk about Fantastic Four, the first steps. But if any of you in the chat, and as long as I know you through Facebook, I have to know you too, okay? Through Facebook Messenger and all that stuff. and on Facebook itself. But if you get a chance, if you've already seen Fantastic Four and you would like to join our panel, let us know at that time when we start, and I will go through my Facebook Messenger and see if I can find your name, and then and then I can send you a link so you can come join us. Yeah, so that'll be hopefully this coming Thursday. Like I said, it's not definite yet, but that's what I planned for it. I planned for the afternoon to do that. So, yeah. Yeah. I didn't know if you were watching it or not. Yeah, you're unboxing. Yeah, they're really well done. Yeah, they are. I agree. Do you have Discord? No, sir. I don't use Discord anymore. Oh, I don't. I don't use Facebook. Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah, Kage. I don't use Discord. I just use Facebook. But that's okay, Kage. I know you, and as long as I can identify you, you'll have to show your face, okay? Again, like you do on your shows and stuff. But as long as I see your big, huge beard and everything, I'll let you up. That's not a problem. If you don't use Facebook, I do know you though. So yeah, that's not a problem. Yeah, Facebook is a no go for me. Oh, okay, Booger. Well, Booger, I know you buy your water buffalo avatar. Don't worry. If we have to, I'll post the link in the chat for a couple minutes, but I won't leave it there for long because I've had issues before with internet bots and you know internet trolls. So I'm just saying we have to be really careful. But if you guys have seen the movie and you'd like to come join us, by all means, okay? Yeah, come on by. Okay. Kage says, "Yeah, I haven't seen the movie, but I just thought I'd ask about other panels." Sure, and that's usually how the panels will work. Kage is as long, like I said, as long as I know you, or if I know you through Facebook too, which helps a lot. But if you don't have Facebook, but if I've seen you and I know what you look like and I know who you are, you can get up on the panel too if you'd like. Talk about other subjects. So that's moving forward. That's what we hope to do. Yeah, we don't want to leave anybody out. That's what I'm saying. you know. But if we don't know you at all, if you're brand new, I mean, yeah, we have to give you a few times, before we let you up. Yeah, I hear the movie isn't doing so well. I heard that, Daniel. Um, Jay says, when is your next panel live stream? Okay, like I said, Jay, we hope to do something about Fantastic Four First Steps this coming Thursday. But Jay, in a few weeks, I want to do uh, on a Tuesday. I want to do a live stream with you, okay? Because we're going to be talking about the 3 episodes when we get to season 5 of 18. The 3 different episodes that enclose the trial for all 4 of the 18. I want you to join me because we're going to talk about those episodes. Yeah, we'll describe them through the IMDb. We'll go through all that, but then we'll talk about those 3 episodes and how vital they were to either continuing the series for just episode 5, but not very long. And we think it was because of Robert Vaughn, this other guy who plays Eddie. I think that was the reason, or they were just tired of playing the role. So yeah, we're going to talk about a lot of that. So that'll come up in a few weeks, Jake. I'll let you know. Don't worry. I'll let you know when we get to those 3 episodes. Okay, we're almost done with season 4 right now. So as soon as we're done with that, I'll let you know. It's going to be a couple weeks though. You know, so yeah, I'll let you know. I miss talking to you, brother. I do too, Jay. But that's why I say when we do those 3 episodes from season 5 to begin season 5 for 18, it'll be special because you and we watched every episode. We were hugely into it. And I mean, it'll be great to have you again co hosting with me when we talk about it. So, yeah, that'd be great. Booger says all social media is a tool of the spies to track us. Absolutely true. Yeah. Enjoy. Jay says, okay, I love that season. Awesome. That's awesome. So, yeah, we'll get together for that. Yeah. Yeah. Booger says, I did not dislike Fantastic Four as much as I feared I would. I wasn't going to see it, but saw 2 reviews from channels I trust that said it wasn't bad. No, it's not bad, Booger. It wasn't bad. No. It wasn't great, but I mean, it wasn't bad. No. Booger says Eddie is the cousin Oliver of the A Team. Yes, he was. He brought the show down. Yes, he did. Wow, good comparison there. Good call. Yeah, because when Oliver came on to Brady Bunch, that thing went to shit. Excuse my language, but yes, absolutely. So when Eddie came, yep, gone. Yep. Yeah, Jay said ratings were bad for the season prior to that season, so they redid the premise, getting them caught or court-martialed, and then everything, and then the ratings plummeted even more. So then they canceled it. Yeah, yeah, we're gonna talk about how good the episodes were done. Right, they were filmed well. I think they were all three of them, and three different titles for the episodes during this trial. But but yeah, I mean, then after like the trial, everything went to crap. Then, right, Jay? And it was just so bad. So, yeah. But believe me, we're going to be talking more about that in the weeks to come. And like I said, Jay, as soon as we get to season 5, episode 1, then I need you up there with me, and we can talk about all three of those episodes in one day. Just take care of it, for one day there. That way, we can just move on to the other ones later. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I would like to do. Because those actually, to believe it or not, those 3 episodes of during their trial are my favorite 3 episodes of all time in the entire series. Yeah. Other than the one where Fulbright gets killed. Somebody gets shot and dies. Yeah. But he wasn't the only one. I told you that earlier. There was an episode I talked about where somebody got killed. Yeah. So there were a few times. Yeah. Not everybody can avoid bullets. you know. So anyway, I hope I thanked everybody in the chat. If I missed anyone, please let me know before I go off the air here. But any other time, let me know too, please, because I want to make sure I covered everybody that was here today in the chat. All of you that voted yes, put a like there. 8 likes, 9 people watching, just so cool. All right, so let's say a quick prayer in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Dear Lord, as you know, at this moment, we have several volcanoes erupting. We've got some bad earthquakes. We have natural disasters galore that are happening all over the earth. With the help of your Son, Jesus Christ, his mother, most blessed Virgin Mary, the Holy Spirit, and of course our patron saints, Saint Suzanne and Saint Michael the Archangel, defender of heaven, and who sent the evil one and his minions to hell. Also, with all the other saints and angels, we ask for all of your help. We ask you to pray for us at this most difficult time as we're going through rough times here on earth. Also, I want to pray for Daniel's Hot Topics. I want him out of his situation, Lord, along with his dog Coco, so they can have a better life for themselves. I want to pray for Jay Aldridge and Renee. I know Jay's going through some rough times physically, but I hope that he gets through them, and I hope that he and Renee continue to have wonderful and awesome time together. I also pray for our friend and brother, uh, Gorilla's Random Thoughts. Right now, he is driving on his way to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, to pick up his new girlfriend, Kayla. So I hope that both Gorilla and Kayla have a good time together, that they're safe. I hope there will be no worries on the road, anything for Gorilla. So please pray for his safe trip there and his safe return from there. So please pray for that. Also, we pray for Brother Larry, who we know my brother's going through way too many things right now. And he's also suffered a few heart attacks. He went through a really difficult heart surgery. He's got to go through something later this month on the 23rd of August. So, dear Lord, please, for the entire Larry's family and Larry himself, please, all the prayers possible for him, as well as our friend Jason and his wonderful partner Nikki, who are there in Michigan. Please pray for both of them as well. So for all these prayers we ask in your name, Lord, amen and amen, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. And here we go. I'm for that, brother. Thank you, Jay. And yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, always say if you're going to go or to use the S word, go for the gold. Amen. Daniel says, I am so happy I didn't take the vaccine. I heard so many things about how bad it was from doctors who came out and admitted things. Oh boy, you don't know what's coming in 2034. Yeah. Um, Jay says, I'm for that, brother. Amen and amen. Hakeem says, thank you, Mikey, for streaming. See you all next time. You're very welcome, Hakeem. Thank you for coming. And Jay says, he had a heart attack? No. Yeah, yeah. Larry admitted to it. Remember, Jay? Uh, he had his first. Remember, a while ago, he had the first one. Then he's been going through all this. Went through his surgery. Then on July 13th, he went back. He had another one. Yeah, a mild one, but he had to go back. That's why he had to go back into the hospital after his initial surgery because he had some setbacks. Yeah, complications. So we got to say extra prayers for Larry there, Jay. He really needs them right now. I mean, all of your prayer groups, I know you got like out the wazoo. Use them all, buddy. Please, please. Jay really needs, Larry really needs them. And you need them too. Yeah, don't feel like you're being selfish if we ask for prayers for you too, there, Jay. And Daniel, prayers are powerful. Prayers will help you, buddy. You and Coco will be able to get out of that situation. But you got to make the first step. You got to take that first step yourself. Okay? As I told you last night. Oh, damn it. Ryan isn't coming today. Oh, that sucks. All right, then. Well, we got prayers for you too, Daniel, so don't worry. Okay. All right, so let's thank a few people. First of all, as my beautiful wife Suzanne says, leave everything in God's hands. It is the most best piece of advice I can think of. Also, my brother Larry says, always be yourself throughout life. Yeah. So, absolutely, be yourself. Don't be anybody else that you don't want to be. Just be yourself. Good piece of advice. And then, of course, I always say here, always expect the unexpected at MikeySuzeFour. Always do. Okay. And of course, last but not least, we always say, and now the aisle's closed, thanking the Gene Siskel, who used to be with the Chicago Tribune and has now passed away, along with Roger Ebert. Rest in peace, both. The Family Foundation allowed me to use that phrase, and now the aisle's closed. So thank you again for allowing me to use that without any repercussions. And finally, last but not least, we always say, God bless America, God bless Canada, God bless the UK, and our friend there, Lisa, and also God bless the rest of this world. It's not a perfect world, but we've got to be able to take care of it. And right now, there's lots of terrible natural disasters happening. So let's make sure we can get through those and be there for everyone that needs our help. So please help everybody. Yes. And of course, peace from MikeySuzeFour. So on behalf of my beautiful wife Suzanne, who is still going through her doctor's appointment, so please pray for my wife as well, and with her knees and with her shoulder and everything. And on behalf of our cats, Moonpie and Deja Vu, I want to thank you all for again being here. 8 likes, 8 people watching. Thank you so much for being here for Red Dwarf and TOS. It'll continue again next week, 2 episodes of each, back on our normal schedule, Mondays at 12 noon Eastern. And like I said, tomorrow is both 2 episode review of Get Smart from season 2 and 2 review of 18 from season 4. And then that'll go back to regular scheduling time, 12 noon Eastern, next Tuesday. Okay? So, and let's see. To finalize the chat here before we leave, Jay Aldrich says, my memory is bad. I don't remember that. Thanks, brother. Uh, Larry says, love you, my brother. Love you, brother Jay. Uh, Larry says, always be yourself. Thank you, Larry. Thank you so much. Jay says, yeah, over 100 people to pray for every night. Amen, brother. Booger says, lost you for a bit in a tunnel. Yikes. That's not good. Larry says hi to Booger. And hey, friend, Ronnie's World. Hey, Ronnie, thank you for coming. Yeah, we're almost done, Ronnie. Yeah, we're just about done. We already got finished, and we did say a prayer for everybody. We said a prayer for your family too, included. So thank you, Ronnie. And good to see you, really is. And thank you. Thank you both, you and Larry, for doing that one live stream and for allowing me to be a part of that panel. Again, I'm honored and blessed to always be with your panels there, Larry. So thank you. And for bringing Ronnie and Diane. That must have been fun that night. Larry says, praying for you, Suzanne. Thank you so much, Larry. Ronnie says, I enjoyed our visit the other day with Larry. I did too, honey. Yeah, it was fantastic. And prayers to Kaya and London, your grandkids. Yeah, prayers to them too. That they have a good life, good lives. Hey, Ronnie, I enjoyed our visit as well. Yeah, it was fantastic. And Jay was there too, don't forget. So, yeah, Jay says, hello, darling. And yeah, yeah, Larry says that was so much fun. We had a great time. I had a great time. I did too. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, I hope we can do more of those guys. And oh, Larry, when you feel more recovered and everything, I hope you can do that Route 66. I would love to see that across the country. That should be a lot of fun. Definitely. Yeah. I definitely hope that you do a lot of video for that. Yeah. I'll be working on the video today, Mike and Ronnie. Oh, yes, for El Rancho. Yeah, thank you. That'd be great. Can't wait to see that. Yeah. I'll definitely add it to my playlist. Yeah. Ronnie says, hey, listen to subscribers with Larry up to $1,000 so he can get his new tattoo. Nice. Nice, Ronnie. Nice. Well, hopefully he can get some other help with his medicals and stuff too. I'm sure he can now that he's got his donations. That is awesome. That's great news. Okay, so for myself, and like I said, for Suzanne and for our beautiful cats, Moonpie and Deja Vu, and for the rest of my family, I want to say thank you all for being here. It's much, much appreciated. Like I said, don't forget to hit that like before we go. If we get to 10 or more likes, I always put in the comment there, hashtag 10 like hype, which comes from our friend, Ancient One. Every time you get 10 or more likes, you always should just type in hashtag 10 like hype and just put it in there. Yeah, it seems to work. I mean, it's a good thing. 1,000 subscribers, I will get a Route 66 tattoo. Yes, that's awesome, Larry. I definitely will see that. 1,000 for a tattoo? That's a lot of ink. Well, no, he says once he gets to 1,000 subscribers, Booker, he's about 200 or so away. So we're trying to get him 1,000. So he'll put on a Route 66 permanent tattoo on his body. When he takes the trip. From Santa Monica Pier all the way up to Chicago. Yeah, that should be fun. Big hugs from Ronnie. Big hugs from Larry. And if Larry gets to 1,000 subscribers, he's going to get a Route 66 tattoo. That's what you just said. Thanks, Ronnie. Yep. That'll be awesome. I can't wait to see that. All right. Well, we are at the 1 minute and 53 or 1 hour and 53 minute mark, so I should get going. But everybody, take care of yourselves. We'll see you next time. Remember, have peace in your life and always say, hello, God, every morning you wake up, because waking up is a blessing every time. And God bless you all. Take care, everyone. I love you all.